Hello and welcome to Talk from Superheroes. Hey everybody, I'm Andrew Ivamy.
And I'm Diana McCullum.
And you're listening to Talk from Superheroes, where every week we discuss a piece of heroic television or film. And this week on the podcast, we're talking about, the name's so nice they said it twice, it's Beetlejuice Beetlejuice.
That's the only times we can say it safely.
Legally?
Legally. So from now on, he's Michael Keaton or the Juice.
Or the Juice.
Or
you know what?
BJ?
BJ? I'm going to go Juice.
Juice.
I'm going to go Juice.
All right, because I want to be safe.
Yeah. The juice is loose in this one. We're talking about Beetlejuice Beetlejuice.
No!
It's happening.
We're in the little town.
You know what? Fun.
I'd
love to go around that little town.
If Beetlejuice wasn't there,
Yeah.
I would love to explore the little town.
Yeah,
But Beetlejuice is always there when you're in the little town.
And that's a problem.
He's a problem.
But other than that, the little town is pretty cute.
If there was a way, when we went to Disney World, tangent. When we went to Disney World, there's like a part where we played on that I loved. It was the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids set.
Yes.
And you could like be next to the big cookie and everything. Fuck, it was great. And
Yeah.
I would love to do that to the little town.
You know what? This would be like a good property for like the secret cinema people who do those experiences.
Little town.
Yeah. We went to their Star Wars one, which was quite good, and they've had some misses over the years. I don't know what their deal is right now, but you know, that type of experience would be fun.
Would be fun. But we're here to talk about Beetlejuice.
Uh-huh.
We're all in now on the name. I guess we're just saying it.
We're all in on the name. Let's start with the usual. We're going to give you a spoiler-free review. Since this is a new movie out in theaters, anytime that we talk about a new property, we always give you a spoiler-free review in case you're on the fence about seeing it or just want a taste of the episode before you do. Then, once you hear the theme music, we will be entering the spoiler-filled section. So starting with the spoiler-free review, the usual, the simple question, Diana, did you like it?
I liked it fine. This movie is very segmented into interesting and not interesting, which is everything in the afterlife is fun and interesting, and everything in the living world is wildly boring, and I don't care, and I don't like anyone, even characters I used to like, which is a challenge. Or whatever you're going to call it. But yeah, everything in the afterlife with Beetlejuice is like fun and full of energy, and they've done all this great prop work again and really setting the scene. And man, I didn't care about anyone who was alive. I don't care about Lydia. I don't care about her daughter. I don't care about any of the stuff they have going on, their personal journeys. I just find I didn't like them. I was really annoyed. I was so excited when I saw this poster because it's like Beetlejuice and then 3 female leads. And I was like, amazing. This is awesome. I can't wait. And then Justin Theroux had the most character development and jokes of anyone in the film. And I'm furious. I'm absolutely so mad about it. Other than Michael Keaton, who had the most jokes and best stuff going on because he rules. So yeah, the afterlife stuff and everything with actual Beetlejuice is fun, and it's poppin', and the energy's good, and everything in the alive world just killed me, even though it was the alive world. Puns. So yeah, it's like it ends up as a fine. Like the third act's a little bit fun because the living and the dead mingle a lot more, but they're really segregated in the first 2 acts. So yeah, it ends up as a fine, but it's like a real good-bad segregation of a film, is my take of a Beetlejuice. Andrew, did you like Beetlejuice?
I think it was great.
Great!
I think it was great.
The whole thing?
I think it was great, but I'm not going to argue on any of the points that you made.
Okay.
I agree with you. This movie is separated into jokes and no jokes.
Yeah.
Jokes exist in the afterlife. And then all of the real world stuff, it seems like it has a completely different team of writers. There are 0 jokes happening. It is not as joke heavy as the original Beetlejuice. But that said, the mother-daughter family relationships, it did work and connect for me. I liked the performances. I bought into the drama of it. I agree with you. It is weird that there are no jokes happening. But I liked the relationships, I liked the growth, and I was kind of a sucker for where they ended up. I had a good time with that, but I do agree it's not sharing any of the same values as the afterlife stuff. None of the real world stuff shares any of the, and I get that, like in the afterlife, there's city clerks with shrunken heads, and in the real world, school is tough. And those are inherently different, but it felt like the DNA didn't share. but I still bought into the drama. I bought into the family. I liked the performances. I liked the three generations. I was quite charmed by it all. So I had a really good time with it. And I think it looks great, and the sets are great, and the costumes are amazing, and the Elfman score and the soundtrack and just everything that the first one had is there, and it's just dialed back because it's not there in the real world stuff.
I'm mad because I want to like it that much.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna get there. I'm not gonna get convinced to like it. But I'm like a little bit like, why didn't I like it? I'm huffy now.
No, I think it just...
Because I actually don't think the performances were great in the living world, to be totally honest.
Oh,
other than Catherine O'Hara.
Interesting.
I actually thought Winona Ryder and Jenna Ortega didn't do much for me at all.
Interesting.
I wasn't feeling the relationships. So this was a bummer for me.
Well, I agree that they played it. We'll get more into it. I think that there were people playing it real, and then there were people who were playing it like the original Beetlejuice. And I don't know which was the right decision, but there was a little bit of inconsistency there. I will agree with you on that, and I was just kind of down for the inconsistency a little bit more than you.
All right, Andrew's down to clown with inconsistencies. Yeah. I won't stand for it.
You won't stand for it at all?
My two halves of a film have to match.
And can it be spoiled?
Not really. Can't think of anything. Maybe one tiny thing that was pretty obvious, but so no.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. There's one molecule of a twist in here.
A reveal.
There's one little reveal, but other than that, I think it's a pretty straightforward story where Beetlejuice is there, and the afterlife is tricky, and I think that that's just the entirety of it. So I also don't think it can be spoiled.
Excellent.
So we're different on what we think the quality is. I'm a great, and you're a fine to poor.
I'm a fine to poor.
Okay. All right. And before we get into the spoiler-filled section of the episode, I want to let you all know that we are going to be participating in Extra Life Game Day on November 2nd. We did it 2 years ago as the whole network. We did it back in 2022. It was fantastic. For those of you who didn't check it out when we did it back in 2022 or you don't know about it, what it is, it's a 24-hour live streaming event with all the proceeds going to Children's Miracle Network hospitals. We've chosen Sick Kids Hospital as ours, which is Canada's largest hospital-based child health research institute. They assist with keeping families together during treatment and supporting patients and families. It's a fantastic cause.
They're sick kids. It's right in the title.
It's right in the title.
What are you going to give your money to? Sick children.
Sick children.
This is a fundraiser for the sick kids.
The sick kids. And we're going to be doing that. It's 24 hours on November 2nd. We're going to be live streaming as the From Superheroes Network. I'll be hosting the stream. We're going to have a variety of events, including we're doing a live video stream of a recording of this podcast, as well as all the podcasts on the network. We'll be playing video games. We'll be doing D&D. We'll have lots of different fun stuff. Plus, for every $20 donation, you get entered into prize draws on the stream with prizes like free t-shirts from TeePublic, signed copies of the book Sex Lies from Superheroes by Diana McCullum.
Oh, it sounds great. Sounds like a good book.
Sounds like a pretty good book, and you can get a signed copy of it, as well as a Hex Gaming Deluxe PS5 controller, plus more prizes to be announced. So visit extralife.fromsuperheroes.com today to donate. At that link, you can get event info, including schedule, the charity details, and you can also follow us on Twitch to be notified when we go live on November 2nd. So head on over to extralife, extralife.fromsuperheroes.com. And now, let's get into the episode. Let's talk about Beetlejuice Beetlejuice.
He's just going to show up.
All right, we have seen Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, and I'm sorry you didn't enjoy it as much as me.
I'm also sorry, because now I feel like a bad lady, because I hate all the lady parts.
It's tonally inconsistent.
It is totally inconsistent.
It's totally inconsistent.
Yeah, it feels like, because she has so much screen time, I'm like, did Jenna Ortega see Beetlejuice one, or like whoever, I shouldn't say whoever filmed these scenes because it was definitely Tim Burton, but
Yes.
I'm like, Tim Burton,
What's going on here?
where are the vibes?
Where are the jokes?
Where are the jokes? Where are the vibes? Where are the bits?
Yes.
I think my biggest problem with like the difference in the two is like, I think a huge problem is that like right off the top, it's like a reminder of the previous movie. It's like Lydia can see ghosts, and not just the two that we saw in the original movie. Lydia can see ghosts, and off the top we see that she sees like a dead woman in a bathroom. She never sees another ghost.
Yeah.
This movie really doesn't care that she is sixth sensing all the time.
Yeah, they kind of give up on that plot device.
And it like really bothered me. I was like, so like it's the only way to connect the underworld and the living world until Beetlejuice shows up.
Yes. Yeah.
So it felt weird.
I can get that. I can get that. I think if I were to take umbrage with what was going on here, umbrage, if I used that correctly.
I don't know, but I loved it.
I think that it is a great and funny performance, but I am frustrated that Justin Theroux gets all of the jokes in the real world. 100% of the jokes.
100%.
He's doing clown.
He is doing clown, and he's doing a good job, but he's getting like character development and jokes and agency and so much screen time.
Yes.
Like scenes with Winona, scenes with Delia, scene with Jenna Ortega. He's all over this movie.
And his jokes do land as well.
They actually land pretty good.
Even like his introduction as like he is Winona Ryder's. He is Lydia's sleazy manager who kind of operates her TV show. Catches her doing pills in the bathroom, throws them in the garbage, and is like, I'm supposed to make sure you're not doing that. She's like, but I want one. He's like, okay, but this is the last time I fish pills out of a garbage can for you. Then they both, then not only does he give her a garbage pill, he takes one and starts making out with her as they've both taken garbage pills. Like, he quickly pops one for fun. And that really got me. I was like, this idiot is so funny, and he's going so big with the performance. I love it.
It was a really nice contrast of he actually was, you're right, going really big, but the pill pop was actually pretty subtle. Like you weren't going to miss it, but it wasn't like, and we need a close-up of the pill pop. It was like, no, okay, fine. And he puts it in her mouth and then just pops his super quick. And you're like, oh no, this is a trash man, but he's funny.
Yeah, he's a funny trash man.
Yeah, when he shows up with the boxes and he was just like, oh, I was helpfully bringing boxes and I heard you scream. I'm helpfully bringing boxes is the funniest line in this movie.
Describing his own stage directions, but not in a way of like, he's not like sarcastically. I say like he's describing what people think of him or what he wants people to think of him. It's written funny. And Justin Theroux is doing a this big campy clown performance with it.
He is. He's doing a good job. But then, like, yeah, Lydia and her daughter get no jokes. And Catherine O'Hara gets, like, some stuff to do, but she's pretty, like, toned down in this one compared to the first one.
She is toned down. She is funny and gets laughs, and I think that is the true comedic genius performer in her coming out.
She is so good.
Because it's not on paper like it is with the trashy manager boyfriend character where it's like, I was helpfully collecting boxes in town is a funny line, and Catherine O'Hara is just having to, like, go big with her performance of what's going on, even though the lines she is being given are not inherently funny. She's elevating them, but she's not getting the same things on paper to work with that he is.
She is elevating them, though. She's so good. Yeah, she is. She's finding her own stuff to work with. She's like, I'll make it if it's not here.
Yeah, and she is succeeding in that, but she shouldn't have to climb uphill. You know what I mean? You should put her on the top of the mountain. She's Catherine O'Hara. Let her go.
She's on the poster. Justin Theroux's not.
Yeah.
I'm a poster-based gal.
But I at least understand that, like, scaling back her comedy chops, scaling back her hugeness as a character allows them to have this kind of multi-generational family story a little bit more in earnest. And I know it doesn't work for you, but it does work for me. And I do see why they scaled her back a little bit to be like, you know, her talking with Lydia and like seeing it and to be like, when she's kind of like yelling through the school window to be like, did I think it was funny when you didn't talk to your mother? yes, because of the way she treated me when we were going. And like that kind of coming around and just the little bit of smugness of kind of like talking to Lydia and just being like, huh, yeah, it's tough, isn't it? And to be like, oh, I wasn't this tough on you. Sure you weren't. And there's a sincerity and a warmth, and I think something that really works there.
I actually will say that part I really liked. I didn't think Lydia and her daughter worked, but Lydia and Delia actually like having this like now adult relationship was kind of interesting and fun to see. Of like, it is such a different dynamic when your stepchild is 14 versus like 40. You know, It's like, oh, and she's a mom now. It's like, oh no, we're equals and we can actually talk about like why we didn't like each other. And this is actually pretty interesting, even if it doesn't fit the tone of Beetlejuice. This is actually again, I think it's Catherine O'Hara just elevating, like, and telling her like, you used to be a powerful, sassy little girl. Like, what happened to you? And kind of bringing it back.
What happened to that emo kid I couldn't control, or however she described it? Yeah,
so that was that part actually. It's only like one scene that they have that, but it's really nice.
And just like the revisionist history of kind of like being an adult parent talking to your adult parent at that point as well. Like when she says they're talking about Astrid, played by Jenna Ortega, and then like and Lydia says like her father died and she hates me for it. And Catherine O'Hara has the like, well, your mother died and you hated me for it. And she goes, I never hated you. I resented you for it. And it's just these little things where I'm like, this is funny and charming writing. And this also like really is a good kind of breakdown of just generational trauma, how we treat one another, how we kind of look back on how we thought we acted when we were teenagers. I'm like, this is charming. It worked for me.
I'm glad it worked for you. That part worked for me in its own ways. Yeah, like the idea of like, because when you're a teenager, yeah, you always think you're in the right and the world's against you. Although Lydia didn't really do all that much stuff to like rebel against her stepmother, except like be goth.
Yes.
Really. It's not like she like sabotaged her art shows or anything. She was more just like, I don't fit your aesthetic.
She was difficult. She was just difficult.
She was slightly difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a lovely conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. So I liked that stuff more than you, but we can both agree that the underworld, the Beetlejuice of it all slaps. It slaps.
The underworld completely slaps. It's full of so many little hidden gags, and it's full of Michael Keaton, who is still
got it.
Good.
He still has the juice.
He let it loose.
He let it loose, yeah.
As a character, as a performer, as an actor, he was clearly having so much fun. He's such a good Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
There's so much to say about this performance because he's in the movie way more than he's in the original.
I'd say like a little bit more.
A little bit more. He got fleshed out. We got a backstory on Beetlejuice.
Yes, we did. We got an Italian art house film about Beetlejuice.
This was the funniest thing in the movie.
I thought that was brilliant. I liked that the movie was willing to like do these little genre pieces, like the claymation of the plane crash of the husband, which, by the way, when we recorded last week's episode, I did not realize that man was full on in jail. Obviously, this movie made the right call of not having him in there whatsoever.
Yeah, quick aside, I did want to do a giant retraction. We gave Jeffrey Jones compliments last week, not knowing he was fully convicted for terrible crimes.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Not what we like to do.
No. Didn't know that about that dude. Not cool. But a really fun way of writing him out that he died in a shark attack and had his head bitten off. And they tell the story via claymation, and then he doesn't have a head in the entire afterlife and is a gurgling esophagus.
It is actually pretty funny and pretty smart way of just being like, no, the character didn't do anything wrong. We still want to honor this character.
He's a torso now.
He's a torso now. He still loved birds. We got to see him in claymation, and we didn't have to give any money to a bad man.
Yep.
It's a win for everyone.
It works. It works really well.
It absolutely works. Although I didn't find he had a lot of laughs once he was in the underworld because he didn't. I was like, where's the sound coming from?
I liked the gurgly sound.
Whole words came out.
There's a little bit of magic and everything in the underworld.
How dare you imply such a thing? But no, I really liked the claymation cut. It was like all the weird cuts were far enough away that you're like, oh fun, another little weird thing. It felt like in Kill Bill when it suddenly turned to anime.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, shit,
here we go.
What's this all about?
What's that about?
And then you find out it's like, oh, crimes. This was
Crimes is what it's about.
reclamation to cover crime.
But the trauma, like Italian art house film is just for fun, and it really works.
It really works. It's a really fun, like, having a different kind of clown joke in this, because Beetlejuice is very clown-esque. He's huge. He's over the top. But it's fun every now and then to be like, no, this is clown in a soft, sexy way, because that's the huge opposite of what I do.
Yes. Yeah. And then it worked really well with him and Monica Bellucci as well. I thought that she made a great foil. They played off of each other really well. I liked that. I'm actually, again, furious about the underutilization of Monica Bellucci in this, because, it opens and she has so much to do and she disappears for, an hour. Yeah.
But God, she looks smoking hot, and she's so good.
Yeah,
the fully corpse briding her with the staples on her face and tying her body back together scene was really, really good.
Even making Winona on the subject of costumes and kind of going for a sexualized look of taking Winona Ryder's Lydia and making her Elvira for her TV show using that flat out outfit, I thought was very funny and charming as well. But yeah, I didn't find her underutilized because
I liked looking at her and I wanted her around more.
Okay.
You're
I liked
fun.
having her around as much as Beetlejuice. You know what I mean? Where it's it's reserved. You just need a pinch of salt. You don't want to. I understand that it's what the body likes, but you don't want too much of it in a meal.
I'm at the theater. Give me salt. Okay? I'm eating popcorn.
Yeah.
Give me salt.
Let's get this blood pressure a-rising. Let's salt it up.
I don't want to see a teen drama happen. I want Monica Bellucci killing fools.
You want a salt lick. You want a full-on... Yeah. I want a fried egg with a pinch. You want a full-on salt lick.
Yeah, that's how I take my meals.
No, I get that. But she is having so much fun, it seems like.
She is having so much fun. I like Monica Bellucci a lot. She was having a great time. Yeah, the flashback of her and Beetlejuice was fun. And then, she just seemed powerful and sexy every time she walked onto set. It was cool.
And she looked like that because she is.
She is. There's that aspect.
And then there's also Willem Dafoe playing the police chief of the underworld, who I had a great time with as well.
How did neither of us know he was in this?
I didn't know Willem Dafoe was in this fucking thing.
Not a cameo. Fifth lead?
Yeah.
Fourth, maybe? Tons of lines.
Mm-hmm.
So much going on. He's got this full background. He used to be an actor when he was alive.
Did his own stunts and then killed him. How was I supposed to know it was a live grenade?
He's got this secretary who just brings him coffee over and over again.
The fact that she's always, that is such a good joke of the always handing him coffee. When he's in the church in the real world and she comes out of a room and hands him a coffee. I love him having a tagline of keep it real, at the end of everything. So funny. Really funny writing.
He fits the underworld so well. This is incredible casting.
Yeah.
You're who's over the top underworld-esque? Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe.
The Green Goblin's here. He's going full the detective in Boondock Saints.
Yeah.
Who was this big.
A little bit.
This is the character he's playing.
A little bit, but he's also playing an actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I really like that. Yeah, it's really cute. It's really charming. The side of the head missing, the very Two-Face thing, it looked great in that practical effect, kind of like we talked about last week of one of the things that looks great about Beetlejuice is it seems very stage. It seems very stage play. And I thought Willem Dafoe's kind of Two-Face-esque, a little bit of skull and kind of cross-sectional brain showing. I thought that looked fantastic, along with all of the other very practical effects throughout this movie.
All the practical effects look good. I think the funnest meeting when you're making Beetlejuice must be how are the people in the waiting room going to have died?
Yeah.
Everyone has died in such a funny, interesting way. There's no one who just had a normal death. It's so fun to just look around the waiting room. You got one lady holding cats, and they obviously ate her body because she's got cat marks all over her. There's a magician in a box who's clearly drowned because he couldn't get out of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, Chris Angel, that sucks.
Yeah. Or I think it may be was it David Blaine who did that?
I mean,
it was one of them.
I mean,
who did the water box, the dad
from Now You See Me.
There we go. That's who we're referring to.
That's who that was.
Yeah, a surfer chopped into, a few different good ones. There was someone burnt up, I think.
Oh, there was a burnt up guy. He was Santa Claus. He was a dad who
came down
Gremlin's dad.
Ah, yes, came down the tree and burnt up in the fireplace.
Maybe everyone was someone's dad. I'm really naming some movie dads here.
There's definitely, having only seen it opening weekend, we haven't read a list of what all of them mean or do, but there's a lot going on there that I think is very charming. Just Willem Dafoe's secretary or one of the assistants in the office having a javelin through the neck randomly. Like, some of these for sure are based on other movies or real life news stories. I definitely think that.
Javelin through the neck was very familiar. I read a play once that was like, because she also had an accent, and it was like a Swedish detective who got javelined to death. And I was like, is this a reference to that?
Oh, interesting.
Huh, yeah. That's a deep cut.
Because it's not the coffee lady. The coffee lady had a gunshot through the heart. You could see that she had a gunshot through the heart.
Oh yeah. Then he also had like a second in command with a javelin.
Yes.
So I like the female base in his office. Love that.
And the fact that all of the cops are motorcycle cops.
Oh, I hadn't really clued in on that.
100% of them are all motorcycle cops.
They are motorcycle cops.
Yeah. So I don't know.
They have the little helmet.
Yeah, and the high boots and stuff like that. I think they're all like California patrol officers. I don't know if there's a thing behind that other than the fact that motorcycles are dangerous, but they're all motorcycle cops.
I wonder if there was some like nugget we missed about like they died filming his movie or something.
Oh, like it's supposed to be chips or something like that?
Or maybe they were actors who were playing cops and the grenade got them too or something.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe. There must be a reason.
Yeah, and they're all the boys in blue. I thought was just kind of the joke. They're all blue in the face as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so everything in the underworld, it looks great. It's so fun.
Soul Train.
Soul Train was fun. I love when every time there's music in Beetlejuice.
Yes, they do the music
the best part
really
of the
well.
movie is like the wedding with I'll Never Have That Recipe Again.
Yeah.
A song I didn't know wasn't from The Simpsons.
Oh, really?
I literally thought that was a joke written for that Simpsons gag about the Miss America contest.
You know what? When that pivotal Simpsons episode aired, that would have been at our age our first and only experience with that song.
Thank you.
So I'm not mad at that.
I didn't think Mad would have been a choice.
Mad would have also been a big bold choice.
But the wedding song was very like Deo. Oh, they sang Deo at the funeral.
Yeah.
That was funny.
The tombstone being a shark fin.
That's so Delia.
Fuck, that's funny. That's the most distasteful, funny fucking thing. A glass shark fin for a man killed by a shark. Her making the funeral all about herself and her art is just beautiful. Killing herself by misunderstanding ancient funeral rites is just so good. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really nice way to tie her into the end, I actually thought. When she like gets to the underworld and she tries to Karen her way out and she can't, and her only cause is to call Beetlejuice and he's just appearing. I was like, oh, good, we've like tied her in because she is very funny.
Yes.
I wouldn't want her out of this whole like afterlife sequence.
Yeah. To circle back to the musical sequence, once again, a terrific job of everyone of seeming pained and strained while singing a song. Catherine O'Hara once again does a really good job of it. Mm-hmm. Now we've got Bern Gorman, a phenomenal character actor where it's always a fucking delight anytime I see this man in anything.
Bern Gorman?
Fucking Gorman.
He loves to just show up with a new accent and not an over-the-top accent.
No.
He's not like bad at them, but just like, this time, something a little different.
Yeah, and just a shit-eating grin, fully dedicated to a character, and he looked pained by doing it. Phenomenal facial work. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but yeah, him and Catherine O'Hara. And then I think that was also like the moment where I was like, oh, Jenna Ortega should have been doing more comedy in this movie because she did a great job of like the dance scene and kind of selling the comedy of being like forced to dance while trying to get the book in this moment. It was the first moment where I'm like, oh, it's physical comedy, but it's a joke. You got a joke. They gave you a joke to do.
I felt the exact same because we didn't watch the Wednesday show, which I know is what she's like the most famous for. But I have seen the Wednesday dance, which was like the most famous thing to come out of it.
Okay.
So like when she started to do the dance, I was like, oh, but it's not a reference to the Wednesday show because they have this in the first Beetlejuice. But I was like, oh, you seem like a totally different actor.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, when they actually gave you something funny to do. this really did pop differently. So I understand. I was like, is this why people liked Wednesday? I don't know how often you danced in Wednesday, but you probably got more comedy because that show was well renowned.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was the dancing. Winona Ryder got to do it this time because she didn't do it last time. She didn't get overtaken by the ghost. So she actually did a really great, like, hitting every word of the song, but her eyes are screaming.
Yeah.
She did a really good job of the whole dance sequence and wedding part was my favorite part of the movie by far.
Yeah, I thought it was excellent stuff. Yeah, and I like how it all came to a head with like a double wedding, like the ex-wife coming in. I kind of liked the foil coming in. I thought that was all very well written. And at that point, the movie had really picked up steam as well. I think that as much as I enjoyed the real world stuff more than you, I still didn't love it. I still thought it was like, this doesn't quite match. By that third act of the movie, where it was like, once she had gone to the underworld with her romantic interest, then everything meshed. Everything just moved. Because it was like, even though she's playing it straight, she's at least in the underworld, and everything is just kind of moving at a much faster clip. All of the zaniness, all the plot lines are intersecting really well. I feel like then the pacing really started working a lot better.
It does, because I think you're like halfway through Act 2 before she even finds out ghosts are real. So, like, how could she be having an elevated comedic performance when she is just living in a real world up until this point? But yeah, once she gets dragged into the underworld and she meets her dad covered in fish and she has to go on the soul train, like, a lot more interesting, fun things start happening in this third act.
Yeah, and still keeping the heart as well of the, like, I miss my dad, I want to see my dad. Some nice moments between them as a family there. I liked it.
It didn't do anything for me. Like, on paper, I get it. Yeah, you found your dad, you get to say goodbye. But I think just like, yeah, it wasn't funny, and it didn't give me any heart feelings. So
she missed her dad.
And I love Santiago Cabrera. So this was...
He died researching spiders in the Amazon or some shit. I don't know. There were a few times where she mentioned the Amazon enough where it felt a little Madam Webby. Where it's just like he died while researching in the Amazon.
That was a little, like, weird that she kept talking about... Not kept talking about it, but at one point she was like, we never found his body, and we don't see his ghost. So I was like, is he not dead?
Yes, like, yes. I also wasn't sure of that either.
Why are there all these hints that he's alive then?
Yeah, there were a lot of hints of that as well.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that must be why his ghost doesn't appear, or he just doesn't have unfinished business, man.
Yeah, maybe
not everyone ghosts up.
Yeah, maybe he just went to heaven or whatever.
Nice. That's a get.
Sweet. That's good stuff. No.
This is going back to a thing I wanted to say earlier. We moved on. I have a slight negative about the underworld, and I actually think we brought this up as a positive in the first Beetlejuice. I didn't think Beetlejuice got enough costumes. They really put him in the black and white stripes.
Yeah, they wanted him to
a lot.
They wanted him to look like maybe it was just to play that gag off the top of like he's Waldoing around the world as Winona Ryder goes around. But
it's definitely like how we think of him now. It's how he looked in the cartoon. That's how he's in the box cover. But as we said in the first one, we're like, he doesn't wear that suit that much for like.
It's one scene.
It's one scene, but it became the iconic suit because it's like on the poster. But yeah, so when I was watching this movie, I was like, no, you guys fell for your own trap. He wears so many costumes. That's part of the fun.
He's big. He's bombastic.
I think the only other costume change he had was when he was like the couples therapist. Yeah. He would put on a sweater, and I was like, yes, a costume change.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah. No, I get that. And he brought back the scary face we don't see. That's fun.
Scary face we don't see was very fun. He also, I think, wore the same tux when he went to marry Lydia again. So he wasn't wearing the black and white tux.
It was the red tux.
The red tux again. So that was nice too. But yeah, just overall, I was like, a lot of black and white, which is a choice when someone's trying to kill you and you've got an iconic look. Yeah. You might be put a different outfit on.
You might want to switch it up. I mean, he dressed Bob in the outfit. I liked Bob and the rest of them. That was very funny to me.
I liked Bob and the rest of them. Just escaping? I guess it's very easy to escape the underworld. They're just in the real world now.
They were just left out there, so they just took off. So they're dealing with their own thing. Good for the Bobs. Yeah, a return of the shrunken heads from the first movie. Another nice little touch. The model city having the car in the ravine and two little characters at the bottom of the river. That was very cute.
Yeah, in my head, the ghosts, like the original ghosts, Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis, like made that before they got to go to heaven. Yeah,
1,000%.
Of course.
I'm 1,000% on
I'm actually really surprised they didn't show up at all. Not so much Alec Baldwin because he's got shit going down. Yeah. But Gina Davis, I thought maybe would just be like, oh hey,
I kind of like moving beyond that and being like, obviously it's not a completely detached story, but to be like, we're not trying to trot out all of our legacies and like make a big thing of it. It's just Beetlejuice is here. We're doing some stuff. I like that.
I would like to have seen her.
I understand.
I like Gina Davis.
I like her as well, but I think that this will lead me to another compliment that I do want to say about this movie is its restraint and its ability to not embarrass itself. Because I'm going to throw shade at another beloved franchise and one that we've covered over the past years on the podcast as well. I'm going to throw shade at the recent Ghostbusters films for the time being. Of the recent Ghostbusters films to be like, hey, we have a young star. Don't you love these young stars? This is a movie for a new generation with some kids. And if we don't put every old actor you're familiar with in this, we will die. Our executives will kill themselves if we do not milk every dollar out of this. I kind of like this. Obviously, it's Winona Ryder and Catherine O'Hara, but being like, we got rid of some problematic people and even some non-problematic people. We didn't feel the need to back up a dump truck of money. We just kind of also want young people who like Jenna Ortega to come see a movie where she's the lead, and that's fine. And like, I think that was really nice and reserved. And I kind of had a big appreciation for that. And then that also leads me to another one, which is a quick drive-by shooting at Ghostbusters.
Oh, God. Ghostbusters are going to be their own ghosts.
Which is the fact that Lydia's TV show, produced by her like slimeball boyfriend that's kind of about ghost houses. I think it's just called Ghost House or whatever. The fact that it is an old-fashioned, traditional TV show, I think it works so well in a movie, and I feel like out-of-date older people who are trying to be hip with kids in movies now will be like, she's got a YouTube channel. All the kids are talking about her YouTube.
I'm going to drive by at Twisters.
Yes.
Because Twisters was, this guy has a YouTube channel. No, we don't know anything about YouTube channels, by the way.
Yes.
And you're absolutely right. The instinct... obviously in
Ghostbusters had a character named Podcast.
Jesus Christ, there was a
His
character
human name was Podcast. And I'm like, that's what happens when a bunch of panicked 70-year-olds are in a room who are like, what do kids like? Podcasts. A character's name is Podcast. All the old people are still there because kids still like us. Fuck off. Fuck off and die for real. Like, just get out of here.
Yeah, and it definitely worked better that it was just like a classic television show. She's got a tube TV on set. They cut to segments. It's a proper show.
It's a movie presented like a play, and a thing that works in a play is a live audience TV show. It just is a better visual language. It's less cloudy. It's not trying to be hip while completely misunderstanding how YouTube works, Twisters.
It's going to age forever.
Yes.
It's going to be very easy to watch this movie, and however many years later, you're going to understand what TV shows are.
Yeah.
And you're going to be like, yes, it's very annoying when your mom is the lead of a TV show that is like about ghosts.
Yeah.
I think your mom being famous on TV isn't normally like a huge problem, but when it's like she can see ghosts or she says she can and you don't believe her, that's very embarrassing.
Yes, I agree. Depending, and it might be mildly popular, or even if it's not, if it's a cable access show and other kids found out about it, that makes it more embarrassing.
She's the Wayne's World of ghost hunting.
Yeah, that's also more embarrassing there as well, to be like, your mom's not even doing it. This isn't BuzzFeed Unsolved. Your mom's we like YouTube ghost hunters. She's doing a shitty cable access show where she thinks it's real and she doesn't do jokes. Like, everyone would shit on that. And
she's not even monetized on YouTube.
yeah, like, it works so much better that it is just a legacy, visually easy to tell. So yeah, I felt really good about that. I like that, to be like, you know what, Tim Burton, you're a 70-year-old man, and you did 70-year-old man shit. To be like, she has a television series. I'm not trying to make it about YouTube or podcasts. I'm not trying to be hipper than I am. I'm admitting I'm 70. And I'm writing and making a movie like 70-year-olds would write and make a movie.
The way that he's trying to be hipper than he is like the fact that Jenna Ortega's in this.
Yeah.
It's like, this is how we'll get the kids, not by Lydia having a YouTube channel.
Yes.
Jenna Ortega, huge star for scary movies and horror related things right now, is going to be the young lead. And that's all I need to do.
Yeah.
And then I don't have to be like Justin Theroux's character trying to be hip and cool and happening when he talks to kids.
Yes. Making fun of those idiots.
Yeah. That's actually a very funny scene as well. Yeah. He got so much to do.
Yes. Yeah, he got so much comedy to do.
This is the most Justin Theroux's ever done in a thing I've seen him in.
Yeah. I do want to say, just kind of to step away from the movie for a moment, one thing that I did think was sweet about our theater experience as well is that the people sitting next to us were a grandmother, mother, and granddaughter.
It really mirrored the movie,
There was something so sweet about that they were all just like they liked different people in this movie and they all came together. And I'm like, this movie kind of fucking nailed it in that regard, where I'm like, I've never seen a Target demo sit next to me that reflected the exact dynamic on screen. And they all like left the theater linked arms. And I was like, this is the sweetest shit I have ever seen in a movie theater.
Yeah, there is some executive producer out there just creaming themselves. Like, we nailed it. Like, they would kill to see that happen live like we did. Like, they were right next to us so I could hear what they were saying. They weren't talking too much.
Yeah.
But I could hear like see their reactions a lot. And it was great because I couldn't really see the grandmother, but the mom like really reacted to like Michael Keaton and all like the original stuff. And the daughter loved Jenna Ortega. And Jenna Ortega doesn't get to do like a range of things in this movie, but like the girls in this movie in the theater were just like Jenna Ortega. But it was really cool to be like, oh wow, this is, they really did nail making a generational film that anyone will go to and enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was quite nice.
I'll give them that. But yeah, it was really cute. It was just like, if I saw it in a movie, I would be like, that's over the top. A grandmother, a daughter, and a
granddaughter all go to see a movie about a grandmother, a daughter, and a granddaughter, and they all leave linked arms a little bit closer together and understanding each other's perspectives a bit more than they did when they entered the theater. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?
Who wrote this?
Is the world perfect and innocent? Are you kidding me?
For 5 minutes when you leave Beetlejuice.
It is. And not to keep hashing on the real world stuff, which I know that you didn't like, but there was one aspect that we didn't talk about, which was kind of the romance story between her and the local boy, between Astrid and Jeremy.
Kill me. This sucked. This just sucked. They didn't have chemistry. I didn't believe this. Actually, I'm going to totally disagree about you like being like, this movie didn't try to be like YouTube-y. I'm like, kids don't talk like this. Even if you died in the 90s, they didn't talk like that then. Oh, you're reading War and Peace and you read War and Peace 3 times? Fuck me. You're not real people. I hated all of this. I couldn't stand it. I wouldn't have kissed her. She doesn't even explain why Marie Curie was dressed like that. I have so many questions.
Fair, okay.
I know who Marie Curie is.
Yeah.
I don't know why she dressed like an elf.
I mean, I think that it's a fine costume. It's just kind of like the clothing of the era to a certain degree.
Oh. So I'm furious again. Yeah, I thought this was boring. I didn't think it worked. It was like, it wasn't even charming. I've liked little like romances before between kids, but I didn't think this worked in any way.
Damn, I bought in.
Oh man,
I bought in.
You're easy.
Yeah,
I am.
I'm not. I'm not though.
My heart is stone.
Traditionally, I'm not. But
no, I didn't like anything about this. I didn't believe these were real people. I think Jenna Ortega did a really good job of like looking at him like she really liked him, but I actually didn't feel any chemistry between the two at all.
Oh, I felt it. I thought he was selling it too. I was very impressed with this actor, Arthur Conti, who I'd never seen in anything before. It doesn't have that many credits, just kind of like came out of nowhere. But I'm like, oh, you're selling, I'm trying to be charming. Like, he did a really good job of selling coy as an act, and in a way that I was like, I'm worried about this guy. And then obviously you should be, because he is a ghost and a murderer.
I think I liked him more when he got to the afterlife, not just because everything's better there, but he just got to have a lot more fun when he was like, I'm just a dick.
Yeah,
I'm just an asshole.
No, but I thought he did a good job of that. It was fun to see him sent to hell by Beetlejuice just stamping a passport.
That was nice. It was nice to just have an easy resolution to something in this film of like, haha, I did it. And Beetlejuice just being like, no, you didn't.
No.
I'm Beetlejuice.
I'm Beetlejuice. I'm a god somehow.
Even though I can't get to the real world without marrying Lydia, apparently, but I also just pop in all the time.
I can control the passport office if I want. Like he freezes all of the hell cops at one point just because he says freeze.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah.
What are the rules?
Yeah. I guess he's a demon, which I guess have more power than hell cops.
But like his flashback, he was just a regular guy.
I guess he's been granted some stuff.
Fuck.
They like the cut of his jib.
I need a second flashback. We got to get a Beetlejuice 3.
There we go.
How'd you become a demon?
We've got to get the 3 of them. Well, let's go in for the close. Let's ask the final question of what would you change? I've got an idea what you might.
You'd actually be surprised.
Oh, okay. So we'll ask the final question of what would you change. So now that we've discussed everything, what would you change about this if you could change anything? Before we do, we will remind you, as we do every week, please take a moment, rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Podcast Addict, Spotify, wherever it is that you get your podcasts now.
Wherever you get them, even if it's some weird place we've never heard of. I bet there's reviews and stars.
ZipZop. Go over to ZipZop and leave us a review. And if that's not there, invent ZipZop and leave us a rating and review on that one. It helps us move up the charts and find new listeners. It's how we grow as a podcast. And as well, if you do want to support us monetarily, you can do that over on Patreon, which is a monthly support system where you can subscribe at whatever level is in your budget and get cool bonuses for doing so. Like at the even if you have $1 in your budget, for $1, first of all, you help keep the lights on, you help make this our full-time job and keep this podcast happening. You also get our webcomic early. So you can get our webcomic early at the $1 level. At the $3 level, you can get this podcast early and ad-free.
That's 2 awesome things about the $3 level.
Bing, bang, boom.
Bing, bang. ZipZop.
ZipZop. ZipZop, the app that is popping off and everyone is talking about. So that is, you get them early and ad-free, which is awesome when we talk about a new movie like this, because you could be listening to this on a Thursday rather than a Monday. And as well, at the $10 level, you will get an exclusive bonus episode of this podcast every single month. This month, we are talking about the last month's box office bomb, Borderlands. Borderlands is Booderlands.
Yeah, I'm adding an extra O.
We haven't watched it and recorded it yet, but by the time that this episode goes live on Monday, it should be up on our Patreon right now. So you can listen to us talk about Borderlands. We'll see it, so you don't have to.
We're taking bullets over here on the Patreon.
We're hopping over to the Borderlands. So that'll be available right now on our Patreon page. So head on over, check out the levels and the options. It's over at patreon.com/fromsuperheroes. That is patreon.com/fromsuperheroes. ZipZop your way over there. And thank you to everyone who supports and everyone who's considering supporting. And now, let's go in for the close. Let's ask the final question of what would you change? Diana, what would you change?
My change is probably surprising. Well, my first one is not surprising considering the tangent I just went on. No childhood romance. I hated this. Dragged the movie down. Added extra time we didn't need. No jokes. My big change plot-wise is I think the dad is alive. So I've made a huge thing of I've made many changes. So Charles died because he went to the Amazon to go bird watching and died on the plane crash back. Charles actually went to the Amazon because he found their dad alive and they were coming back on the plane together.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Charles dies in the plane crash. The dad's alive though, but he's like slowly making his way back. It was like going to be a surprise.
Okay.
This is why the ghost of their dad never visits them. This is why, but he's like, I don't know, he's been stuck. He's been in some village that doesn't have internet in the Amazon. So he finds him, he's bringing him back. And then the conclusion of this movie is supposed to be like, Beetlejuice is trying to marry Lydia and like, how do we stop this from happening? Her husband shows up and it's like, she's already married, so you can't marry her. And then they get like a happy family together. He's actually alive. This is why the ghost never came. I want a little bit more resolution of like why the dad was a plot point, I guess, why he was even around. So I'm gonna throw all that in, and then I guess just a little punch up on the living sections. Like the plot works. You just really need some jokes for the ladies that instead of just giving them all to Justin Theroux. Punch up, and the dad's actually alive and not a ghost at all, and that's why he never visits. These are my changes to Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. Andrew, what would you change?
I like that. I like those changes. I can get on board with that. I would say that my big change is more jokes in the real world. More jokes and charm in the real world. I am okay with Jenna Ortega as Astrid kind of being the straighter character, the one who kind of plays it flat, which frankly Winona Ryder did as Lydia in the original one as well. It's like the younger kind of the younger Avatar character for like the young audience watching to be like, I'm her, is playing it a little bit flat and is more kind of living in an emotional world than a comedic one. And everyone's being funny around her. And at least that's what it was in the original. So I think in this, it's like you need to give more joke opportunities to Catherine O'Hara versus having her create it herself. Mm-hmm. So I think more jokes to her. And I actually want to see Winona Ryder's character be more comedic. I want Lydia to have gotten bigger and louder and kind of more like her stepmother later in life. Like, I like that idea of like the person that she was so judgmental of. She is now like the artist on television. And she can still have the sleazebag boyfriend who's taking advantage of her. But if she wants to be on television, because it ends with her being like, I actually am going to stop doing this show. I don't like it at all. And it's like, but if you liked being on television and were more of like a pop culture artist versus your stepmother's like high society artist, it would still allow you to be high strung and comedic and care about ratings and like wearing wearing ridiculous outfits and like being extra gothy and like staging things that aren't there. Like, there's more room for comedy there if she wants it, versus her not wanting it and then taking a pill and then not seeing it and it not being a problem. So, yeah, more jokes for the living, especially for Catherine O'Hara. And I think that Winona Ryder should be amped up into a bigger comedy zone, allowing her daughter to take more of the flat and emotional perspective within this movie.
Yeah, I can agree with that. There should really only be like one super flat character in like a movie like this. And Winona Ryder as like the bring back should be bigger later in life. I mean, even what I said off the top, I think, if she just saw more ghosts, if this was more of a just like, yeah, I'm on edge all the time. There's dead people everywhere. They've got bullet wounds in their heads. I don't know who's real or who's not. Like, there's definitely comedy to mind and just like what that would do to you.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, or anything with the ratings. Like, yeah, why would she do a TV show if she didn't want to at all? Like, she must want something about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So
something.
I think there's comedy.
Something bigger.
There's comedy to be mined there, and that would, I think, then just give enough comedy for the real world. If she was still seeing ghosts.
Yeah.
If she was, trying to run the show to be like talking to ghosts in a house to be like, can you make the cabinets go wonky? I know it's the hack cabinet thing, but it shows up on camera really well.
Yeah, she would have those conversations with the original ghosts. Like, are you wearing bed sheets? Like,
yeah.
So like that.
I think stuff like
bed sheets are good.
Bed sheets are like her now being like, bed sheets are a classic.
The classic.
We get it. Everyone, we get great comments and feedback anytime we do the classics, like bed sheets or a cabinet smack. Can we there's room for more comedy and levity there.
That would be very funny. Yeah, her talking to ghosts to stage things. Ghosts are real, but I need you to do stuff to make ghosts look real.
Yeah.
That would be very funny.
Yeah. So that's my big change.
Excellent.
We did
love it.
Yeah.
We've done it.
We've done it. So that will do it for Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice, thank you very much for listening. Next week on the podcast, we are going to be back and we're going to be talking about 2007's Michael Bay's Transformers film.
Oh, man. That was in 2007, the first Transformers?
That's what I have in my notes, if I'm to be trusted.
You know what? I trust you.
Oh, okay. We'll see about that.
Let's find out.
But Michael Bay's original Transformer film, we're building up to the release of Transformers 1, the new animated film that'll be coming out. So we're going to dip back into the Michael Bay Transformers
I can't believe
movie.
We've never done a Transformers.
We've never done a single one of them. So we'll be talking about that next week on the podcast. In the meantime, if you want to get a hold of us, you can find me most places. I'm at Ivimey, Ivimey.
You can find me on Instagram and Threads at Pics of Diana and Tumblr at Words of Diana.
And you can find both of us most places at From Superheroes. And you can check out all the podcasts and everything we create over at FromSuperheroes.com. And we'll talk to y'all next week.
Bye.